Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Hello and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Lala, your singing international real estate agent, and today we're talking about an urgent issue for our community: Black underrepresentation in tech. While other communities like Asian and Indian populations are teaching their children tech skills as early as age 6, many of our kids aren't getting the exposure, the guidance, or encouragement in this space. We'll explore why this matters, how it affects jobs, decision-making power, and wealth, and whether investing in tech alone is enough to close the gap supporting leaders we believe in protecting ourselves financially. Today, I have a beautiful royal court. It is Monday, y'all, and we're going to kick it off with something that's important to our community. I have Marlo Lacen, TV film producer. I have Joe Corley, licensed therapist, mental wellness coach, and educator. And I have Dr. Sabrina Williams, author, investor, educator, specializing in the proper transfer of wealth. Hello, my court. I am so glad that you are here today. I think this is a very important conversation that we're getting ready to have. But before we actually start, I also want to say hello to our viewership family. Thank you for being here. Remember what I say, we don't talk at you, we talk with you. So we would love to hear your comments, as well as why do you think that we are falling behind in our community with tech? Because we all know that we are getting left in the wind with this as AI continues to march on and become something that is an everyday use. I mean, even people just making grocery lists, right? So my first question to the panel is, I always like to kind of get a quick overview from my family here. Dr. Sabrina, do you see this as an issue of us not getting the education that we need in schools? Like this is some kind of just fluke that's happening instead of actual technology happening?
Well, I certainly do think that it is a lack of exposure in our schools often, but it's also a lack of exposure in our homes, which speaks to those of us that are parents to step up our responsibility. And what I mean by that is a lot of times, our kids will be on us to purchase things, purchase them, the iPhone or these other gaming systems. And we'll go out and we'll make those purchases, but there's never conversations around the other side of that. The stock, the Apple stock, as opposed to simply the iPhone, the Apple phone. And so I think, yes, the education piece of it is lacking, but also, who needs to be educated? Is it just the kids? Perhaps it's the parents as well.
I have to agree with that. How about you, Marlo? Do you think that this is something that we can turn around and change?
I think so. I think that we don't always have the information, right? There are a lot of resources out there where kids as young as toddler age can have access to age appropriate, age level coding. And part of it is just not knowing where that information is and getting out of your circle and getting into a circle that's talking about it, or where that's access, or even just asking Google. Stop asking ChatGPT to validate your feelings and ask ChatGPT how to enhance your child's mind, because those answers are there as well.
That's so interesting, Marlo. You and I had just a little bit of a brief interaction with that, where we are finding more and more people are using AI to be a friend or to be a lover or to be a confidant, more than actually using it for business are learning more, because you actually can train ChatGPT to train you on something. Like it's all about the prompting. If you need to learn something, you can ask ChatGPT to guide you. What about you, Joe? Do you feel that this is something that is also going to end up harming our communities in the mental capacity? Because Marlo and I said the people using it for a crutch on relationships, but do you feel that being left behind in this industry is going to affect us as well?
Yeah, 100%. The people who design and program this technology are also the people who decide who get to use it. So, and if we don't get our, Black voices at the table, these things get built without our perspective. And then where we right back where we started, and if we find another form of discrimination and systematic oppression to keep us down, because all the AI is going to have what? Biases and exclusion. So, we need to jump in there and lend our voices to what's going on.
We've actually seen that happen, and we knew it from the very beginning that it was being fed certain things, so certain things wasn't being fed back properly. And then we had, was it Grog, which was Musk's system, go completely rogue, and they ended up taking it down for a little while before putting it back up. Armando says we're behind because we invest far more and are focused on sports and entertainment over the life of developing skills. Can't say I disagree with you there. And Mackie says, could you also talk about the importance of learning AI in skilled trades? AI will help skilled trades professionals work safely and extend their careers, especially in fields like construction, which ties into STEM. STEM is a part of all of this. But listen, it's all tied in together, and somehow we're dropping the ball on this. But I want to watch this video so that we can get back into this conversation. Keep the comments coming, because this is something we must address. Let's watch this and we'll be right back.
We actually went to NVIDIA's headquarters and we went to Meta's headquarters. Okay, we go to Meta's headquarters, right? We get in the tour of their campus. Their campus is crazy. You don't see one Black person there. 90, you hardly don't see any white people there. Asian, Chinese, and Indian. So much though, they said that they have full Zoom calls in Mandarin. That's how many Chinese people work there. So, of course, from an investment standpoint, we need to invest in tech companies. But from an educational standpoint, like we like, I don't think people fully understand how far behind we are in this situation. Like, we're not even a thought in the process of, like, these tech companies. Not one. It might be like one Black person in the whole entire department of like 300, 400 people. I'm telling you, we saw it with our own eyes. Hundreds of kids that's 22 years old, 25, 26, all Asian. Every single one of them is Asian. So it's a Black problem, but it's an American problem. Right. Like, if you look at the for the first time, I think in 20 years, America won like the math Olympics. If you look at the team, they're all Chinese people.
Chinese Americans.
They're all Chinese Americans.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? Like, we're falling behind so far. Educational system is terrible. And like I said, it's not just a Black problem. It's an American problem. Right. Like, we're losing the technology. They're saying China is 6 months. China's already, I just came back from China. China's already 10 years ahead of us. Like, if we don't catch up soon, it's going to be very scary.
So I'm going to turn this personal, because we talk about our communities and we talk about our children, but I'm also asking you, family, are you using this technology? Are you taking advantage of it in your jobs outside of just learning things on your own? Is it starting to be something in your jobs where it's kind of demanded that you need to get involved with AI and these tech things that are out there right now? How are you using it? If you ain't using it, how are we expected to make our children use it? So, Dr. Sabrina, I would like to know, how do you use these technologies?
Great question. So I've been forced to, just like everybody else, but not so much from the standpoint of not knowing what was coming. I was doing research 30 years ago, went to a D1 research school, and we were talking AI back then. So finally getting to see, in real time what I studied years and years ago. That being said, how do I use it? I use it in many different ways to help enhance my marketing, to help advance all of the things that I'm trying to do. As a growing entrepreneur, I can't not use it. If I don't use it, I will be left behind. And so I have embraced it because it's where we are, and it's certainly where we are going. And that's just, that's just the reality. And I would encourage any of us that are listening today that have not embraced the technology and used it to please open your mind and start using it, because this is where we are as a country. We have to. No way around it.
Yeah, if you don't, you are going to be left in the wind with this. I mean, I never will forget when I went to school for word processing. That was my college degree. The minute I got out of school, I learned on that old school, y'all, it was so big. It was like a ton, the Wayne computer. And I had to learn that stupid thing. And the minute I graduated, what came out? Microsoft. And that was in the wind. So I had to relearn that after I had paid and graduated, or else I would have been left out of the job opportunities, because that is what took over. So Marlo, how are you using this technology? And you've got children. So how are you helping them to embrace it as well?
Well, I use it to simplify. What is it that I can't do? What is it that's going to take a lot of my time? I could write it in a prompt. I could go do something else that really needs my brain power. And that's what I use it. I just use it as an assistant. It's not my best friend. My chat don't have no name. We on a strictly business basis, because I understand that there's a psychology behind this. There's a psychology to being addicted to using these applications and leaning on them, and your cognition, your brain going to mush, right? All of that's real. So I use it in a way that makes me more efficient, if that makes sense. In terms of my kids, well, two of my kids are adults, so they can do whatever they want to do with the AI technology. And my youngest is still in high school, and she has to use it ethically, right? She is expected to use it in a way that is an assistant as well. So that's just the conversations that we're having. But I want to say that in terms of the education system, I remember conversations last summer before, we got we went back to that relationship that we were in before. And I remember people being like, oh, we need to blow up the education system. We need to, without an alternative, what you get is left behind, right? Teachers don't really know this AI technology to really be able to effectively teach it. A lot of them are learning. But I would say, especially for people with younger kids, find those applications, buy them those little doodads, let them make their own video games, let them make their own books with AI and things of that nature, so that they are getting a step ahead, right? Because we crushed it. No Department of Education at the federal level. That building is, I don't know what they're doing over there, but they're asking that they're going to ask the Congress in the next session that it be dismantled, right? What happens in the meantime? So I'm saying, whatever you feel about this technology, whatever you feel about learning, we are going to have to take control of that. Take control of the learning. Do it now. Do not wait.
That's right. And that goes on all levels. I have to say, before we go to commercial, I absolutely love my mother-in-law. She is 89 years old, and she is always asking us, what can you teach me today? And so we have taught her to use these technologies, and she may use them on a simpler basis than what some other people use, but it helps to keep her brain moving forward as well. And it helps her to manage some of her stress on what she can streamline for the day. So it's for all ages, baby. It's for all ages. We cannot be left behind. We're always left behind, but we need to jump on this bandwagon. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
That's exactly what we're talking about today. So if you don't even know where to start, go ahead and hit us up at flynubianmoney.com. There are many resources there for you for free to help you start spinning your wheels on how you can make sure that you jump into this pool of technology, because you cannot be left behind. Now, Joe, I didn't get a chance to hit you with this question because you're in a different field, and you deal with a lot of personal things. How do you use these tools in your business?
Yeah, I mean, I use AI to help construct my notes at times, as if I had to do it, manually, I guess I'm trying to say, it would take me forever. So, sometimes I just put my thoughts from the session in, and then AI makes that a nice little pretty note for me, and I can put it in and submit that to the insurance companies or whatnot. Also, sometimes I exhaust my mind trying to find activities or homework or journal prompts to help people grow and process kind of what we've gone over in session. So sometimes I use AI to, generate some ideas for me, or some different types of homeworks, or some different types of stuff that we can do in session, that can help, again, try to help people get across that bridge. So yeah, I mean, I definitely use AI, and then to try to expand my my thought or my talent to generate different streams of revenue for myself. If I have a business idea or an idea that I can help use AI to construct it for me, save myself tons of time instead of just starting from scratch, or going to Encyclopedia Britannica. We can go ahead and jump a couple steps and get it done.
Yeah, and I use it in my business all the time. I am actually learning to build custom GPTs to help people with their home ownership. Also in my classes, I help to incorporate other information in there. And I'm also teaching other people how to use these technologies to help better themselves as well. So all of us, as you see, all of us here, all four of us, are using these technologies in many different ways to help better our knowledge, as well as to turn around and help someone else, which is, I'm really huge on that. If you're going to learn something, make sure you turn around and teach someone else. And not to mention, the gentleman did say we need to be also investing in these tech companies. Who better than be one? Dr. Boyce always tells you where you can invest your money. So I'm telling you to tap into this network to help you to invest in these companies as well. But we have another video. Let's check this out and get back into the conversation.
Y'all know I used to work in the tech industry. Well, being black in tech was hard. And I gotta tell you, I left because of unfair treatment. And now I saw a recent study that said almost half of black people in tech feel that they need to switch companies more frequently in order to get the opportunities that they deserve. I mean, promotion, salary, etc. Almost half. That's compared to a quarter of non-black people. So, all right, well, they leave, right? What does that mean for the companies? Well, it costs them $144,000 to replace a tech employee. And a study now shows that black people leaving tech jobs because of this unfair treatment cost the tech industry $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion. Their discrimination, their unfair treatment, their racism is costing them $1.2 billion. So you know what would be a win-win? They treat us better, they save money. Let's do it, right? Okay.
I absolutely love that. But also you can see which companies are making sure that they diversify. And that also kind of leads into what we're talking about in investing. So, Dr. Sabrina, you are our wealth person. You deal with making sure that people can get their wealth up and transferred where they need to get everything in order for them. So, do you think that investing in tech companies is a sufficient solution to build wealth for our community?
I think it is a very viable option, but I am a firm believer in multiple streams of income. So, whereas I would encourage anybody to invest in tech, I would also say find some other investments as well. And the reality is, you know, you talk about the tech companies. There was a statement that was made on that first video about the tech companies and them not really even considering us. They consider us, they do, but it may not be in the employment of us at their companies, but who do you think they're building a lot of these products for? Who are they marketing to? Who is the consumer base? So yeah, we're being considered. It's just on the back end, not necessarily the front end. And again, I'm going to bring it back to the community. There are some things that we have got to do with this, you know, this just needless spending. One of the comments I saw a few minutes ago said something about us as a community just being so overabsorbed in entertainment. And we are spending too much money and not investing our resources. Point in case, before we came on air, we were joking around. I think, Lala, you had a fan and you didn't hear because I think you tuned out for a minute. But Tiara was teasing you about saying, where them fans at? And I asked her if I needed to get my boots, put my boots on the ground. Now, that being said, we're having fun with that. But the reality is somebody made a song and created a whole movement behind that. As a community, we've gone out. We now are buying boots, cowboy hats, belts, and fans in mass. But who among us owns Western stores? Who's getting this money that we're spending on all of this stuff?
Yes.
So again, I think we got to start having a broader conversation about what we are doing with our money. We got to stop spending so darn much money and start investing it. And where should we start? Tech. Why tech? A $25 investment in Bitcoin in 2009 would be worth over $1 billion today? $25.
Wow.
$20. Okay. So we got to start doing some things different, people. We got to.
I believe so too. And it looks like our audience is saying the same thing. Ellen says, I have a granddaughter that just started middle school. She doesn't have a computer technology class on her schedule. Y'all, she's in middle school and she does not have a computer technology class on her schedule. That is saying something. Brother Future said it's going to be like Star Wars. People who want exponential results in areas of interest pursued will get exponential results. It's true. I actually just saw a very interesting video about they tackled this on Star Trek many years ago, where a character created a character upon someone else and fell in love with that character. And then when that original person came back, he was disappointed because he thought, well, this is not the person I love. Well, it wasn't her. So, I mean, they tackled AI and these relationships early on with that. Is that a prediction? I don't know. C. White says we have to get the kids to like working on programming these systems instead of just playing games on them. I think that's a great question for you, Marlo. How do we do this as a community? How do we get the children to be interested in that more so than being the next ball player or football player? Or, you know, how do we get them to focus on better things?
Well, I'm not going to knock football, basketball, sports, none of that. I'm a sports girly. If you want to run with a ball, I will watch you. So let's just say that. But I would say as a parent, I think that I was a kid who took stuff apart, right? My mom is on the chat. She probably laughing as I'm saying that. The oscillating fan, I took it apart. The little space heater, I took it apart. The box fan, I took it apart. I needed to know how things work. And my parents allowed me. Now, you better put it back together how it's supposed to work. was the rule, but I was allowed to do that. I was allowed to tinker. And as an adult, when I got into TV, I was told by a professor, hey, you can't break it unless you drop the computer on the floor. So knock yourself out learning. That opened the door for me to want to learn as much as possible. And I think that that's the key. The key is to take the taboo off. Stop telling the children how much you pay for that thing. Give them rules and regulations. Explain to them how it should be used, how it should be respected, and they will. I think that part of it is we do things, you buy your kid the iPad. Everybody know how much an iPad costs. Ooh, that baby got an iPad. Ooh, iPad. For us, it's about expense. It's about money. It's about how much we spent in consumerism instead of us explaining to the child that this is a tool that can open your mind and open up multiple avenues for you. And I think that that's what we have to do. I see people all the time with kids. Obviously, the device is expensive. You don't want them slamming it on the ground, but you have to set up parameters for them to tinker with things, for them to touch things, for them to learn and explore things. Doesn't mean you don't have guardrails on, but you definitely have to allow learning and exploration to happen. And I think a lot of times we don't want to do that because I paid $1,700. That iPad wasn't on sale. We have to get out of the how much things cost and get into how much can this learning open up for this child in the future. And I think that that's a first step that we have to take as a community, because we know how much things cost. We don't know the value of the thing collectively.
That's right. That's right. I never will forget, as an adult, I needed a new battery in one of my laptops, and I just refused to go and pay somebody $150 to replace the battery. And I made it a point to go and learn how to got the screwdrivers ready, put that battery in all by myself. And then when my son needed to do one for his, I was like, let me show you how to do this, baby. Because sometimes you do have to get your hands dirty. But I was one of those kids who like to make mud pies outside all the time and always making up something in some concoction when I was a kid. We got to let our kids have imagination, and we have to allow them to explore and learn. What has happened to that in our community, where booty shaking and learning the current rap is more important than educating our babies on the things that are actually going to help them grow and thrive. We're going to take a quick commercial and we'll be right back.
I know. You're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
And this is the perfect example of how we help you level up, because a lot of the things that we are talking about today are offered through the Fly Nubian Money Club is priceless. So please make sure that you come on over, sign up. You will get in there and learn things that you never thought that you were going to learn, all within one portal who's focused on us. So please make sure that you go to sign up to flynubianmoneyclub.com. I want to hit a couple of stats and then get back into this discussion, because numbers don't always lie. Sometimes they do if they're skewed. But I do want to kind of see what technology is looking like on these percentages. Less than 5% of tech leadership roles are held by Black professionals. Y'all, that ain't even a double digit. That's 5%. Black children are significantly less likely to have access to coding or STEM programs before high school. And the way that they are doing things now in Texas will also bleed over in other states where these lines are being redrawn, where our children will also be put on the back burner once again. Joe, I do want to ask you a question because, you know, in our community, it's kind of a stereotype that these type of things are not for Black people. You know, it's not cool to be a nerd. So how do we combat these stereotypes for our community?
Yeah, same. You know, if we got online and all the black tech nerds were, showing up in their Lambos, in their mansions, and all the things like that, we we will make it cool, right? It will be something we want to do, just the same way the rappers and the ball players is doing it. So and it's probably an even smaller percentage of people that get into those spaces. So we look at that like, oh, that's impossible to do. But I bet it's somewhere less than 5%, um, than the stronghold we have in the tech industry. So we just got to show what it is on the back end, and also and make it visible for people to see. There's a better chance of you becoming this tech nerd than it is of you becoming LeBron James. Like there's a stronger possibility for you to make your footing in this. And you can do two things at the same time. You can play sports up to the point where they tell you that you can't, but they'll never tell you that you can't do this, because if you have the knowledge and skills, you only need them to a certain point. So it's just basically educating what it looks like on the other side, and we have to do a better job of showing young people the benefits of the other side, instead of putting them in positions where they can chase dreams that are far less reachable.
I agree with all of what you said. We also have to get out of our own way. Stop telling our kids that they nerds. Stop telling them that, at this point, being a nerd to me is pretty sexy. I like to see your brain. I like to see you use it. And I love it when I see kids dive into this. I do have a niece who is just now going to middle school. She's smart on that thing, and she loves, and she's learning early coding, and she's loving it. So I'm loving the fact that she is getting into that part. She uses her imagination and creates her own games. And so this is what we need to see more in our community. I do want to hit a couple of our comments. Mackie has a really good point, and I'm going to throw this to you, Dr. Sabrina. Do you believe that one reason some of our young men may be behind in tech is because of the low reading comprehension levels? Reading is so fundamental to learning and new technologies like AI and robotics. Do you think that this is directly tied to our young men not having low reading comprehension?
I think that certainly plays a part in it. But another thing that I think is hurting us right now is not knowing who we are and from whence we come. If you go back and you look in history, and I'm convinced of this, there are so many inventions that, we don't even know about, that were invented by people that look like us. And people don't talk about that. Other folks are not talking about it, and we certainly are not talking about it enough. And I think if our young people, especially our young Black men, just knew who they are and from whence they cometh, they would have something to aspire to, so much more to aspire to, because we are so much more than twerking. We're so much more than shooting each other up. We're so much more than spending up and wasting up every dime that we get our hands on. We are so much more, and we deserve so much better. And so I think a lot of what we have to do as a community is teach our history so that they have something to aspire to. And I think representation matters in our schools. It certainly matters in our communities. It matters. I can say that because I am a STEM graduate. one of a very few people in this country that holds the distinction that I hold, a doctorate in engineering. You don't find those every day, probably 1% of the population. So it's possible. And when I say that, I don't say that to sit and brag. I did it because I could do it. It was not a challenge for me. Now, doing some of the things that other people do, I was not the creative. I was not artsy and craftsy. That was not my gift. But I hope that people can see me and be inspired and know that if a little old country girl from Mississippi could go to a D1 research institute, institution and do it, then certainly you can too. There's inspiration in that. And with that being said, Marlo, let's go ahead and get your thoughts on where we are as a community, what we're doing, and what we need to do to inspire our young people.
I think, many of y'all may not know this. Captain America is Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie and I went to high school together. Anthony Mackie's brother is an engineer. He founded a company called STEM NOLA. It is an education initiative to get kids in public schools exposed to STEM because they couldn't. So my point in saying that and giving my degrees of separation is you have to be visible, right? If the engineer goes to work, the STEM person goes to work, and they don't show up for kids, kids can't see that you can be an engineer and a nerd and like sports and like the same music and have a hobby outside of that. Kids have to see it. The reason that the aspiration is entertainment and sports is because they are visible. Shador Sanders, kids get invited to camp. Shador Sanders can interact with those kids. They can see him. They can touch him. They can give him something. He can give something back to them. And it is a tangible thing. The Black people that are in these tech spaces are invisible at work, and they are invisible in the community. They wait, and maybe you have to wait. I don't know. I didn't do it that way. But they wait until they get to a certain level of whatever. They get a certain permission level. I don't know what it is. And then they're visible as 50 and 60-year-old men that nobody is interested in. So where are, Isaac Hayes III founded Fanbase. It took him a long time to fundraise. It has taken a long time to cross the 1 million threshold for that particular app. I've seen other apps blow up much quicker. So that's telling me Black people did not run to support this man in technology, right? So part of it is we like to see the finished product. Like Joe said, the basketball players, they arrive, you see they drip, you see they clothes, all the shit that don't matter is out in front, and it is loud and proud. And the people that are doing great things, the people that can say, oh, you know how you're able to send that emoji? I designed that. Where's the emoji designer that's talking to the kids? Because the kid knows the emoji. That would spark a conversation. So I think that as much as it's visibility, me seeing you on my TV screen, it is you coming out of the TV screen and talking to the kids that are there. It is you being proud of the work that you've done to the point where you will brag on yourself to a child and let them know what involvement you had in a particular thing that they're familiar with. You want to be a ghost, and then you want to pretend that you don't understand why nobody knows you exist. It's because you love being a ghost. Come out of the shadows, Casper, if you want, or maybe you happy being the only one, because some of us suffer from only one syndrome. So I'm saying, if you're in that industry, if you're in that field, if you have the capability to talk to young people, you need to do that, because that's what visibility is. It's not just once you get to $1 million, now I want to be visible. Well, now it's kind of too late, because the gap has been filled by frivolity, right? Everything that's in the gap is frivolous. And you on the fringe talking about nobody cares about serious stuff. Well, where were you? We have to come out of the shadows. You got to teach kids. We got to get back to your grandfather. That is STEM. Putting that concrete in the sidewalk, that is STEM. It is an action of STEM. It is one piece in the chain. Start teaching kids again. We want to say, oh, it's the kids, they don't want to learn. We don't want to teach them. We don't want to have the patience to teach them. We don't want to have the grit to make them do a thing and continue to do it. And it's problematic and it's not going to serve our community at all.
Agree. But I have to tell you, like, that is the truth. Like, and it could be as easily as those who are retired, like the ones that tell my mother-in-law, she's into it. She's willing to, she was a teacher. So what she learned, she turns around and teaches someone else. And then we actually have Ellen who said, I am 69 years old and taking AI classes online. Ellen, we bow down to you. I'm so glad. Now, who you going to teach, Ellen? Who you going to teach? We want to hear who you're going to teach. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
We don't hire many Black people. An interviewer literally told me this. And you use their products every day and can probably tell they don't hire many diverse people. But I wasn't sure whether to be upset or not when they told me this. So I'm in the final round interview for a big tech company. And the final question I get from my interviewer is, hey, we don't hire many diverse people here. Would that be a problem for you? And just like you watching the video, overcoming racism shouldn't be a job responsibility or shouldn't be in the job world. But I'm out here to get a bag. So I tell them no. I basically said I've worked in similar environments and it's not a problem for me. But when I told my friends this, they were livid. That interviewer was trying to scare you away, is what all my friends told me. Since I was doing a good job in the interview, my friends thought this was a scare tactic for him to convince me to not take the job in the case that I got it. And when I told other family members, they said the same thing. But the guy who asked me this was a person of color, so I just thought he was trying to look out. I didn't think anything of it. So was he trying to scare me away? Let me know in the comments what you think.
Listen, that's a mental play right there. Joe, I'm tapping into you on that. Is that reverse thinking like that also harming us? Because he did what he had to do to get the job. However, people pointed out to him that, hey, look, they really was just trying to scare you off from that job. Is this something that we face, and how can we overcome this?
Yeah, of course it's something that we face. It's something we've always faced. It's not nothing new. Those tactics aren't surprising. There are plenty of psychological barriers that we come across as a community when we're trying to get into different spaces as things grow. We have to see ourselves. I think kind of that's, what Dr. Sabrina said. We have to be able to see it, and what Marlo was saying too, in order to be it. Okay? If we don't see ourselves or see that representation, then it doesn't even exist to us. It's not that we're trying to turn our backs to it or we're running from it. If we can't see it, it doesn't even exist. So I mean, if I could go online right now, give me a nice big chain, slide about a $5 or $10, $15, $100 bills down my arm, you know what I mean? I'd have about 5, 10, 15 interns in my inbox in the morning. Like, damn, I want to do therapy too. That's how I pop off. But I'm not doing that, obviously. I might do that.
This sounds like a new way to get them involved. Yeah. Like, listen.
Make a note, T. I might.
Absolutely love it. Well, he's saying there are a lot of people that are not hiring us, but do we have the skills to be hired for that? So I'm actually going to do a round robin with our panel here and you, viewership family. I know for a fact that a lot of companies have now jumped on this and want people to learn this because they're going to need you. So I have 3 companies that I know right now that are offering free AI classes. If you don't even know anything about it, you could do the 101. It even goes up to some free coding. So Harvard University is one of them that are offering free classes in AI. Go and check them out on their website. Google is offering free AI classes, and so is Microsoft. How do I know? Because Lala is also taking them. So, Dr. Sabrina, do you know of any places that are also offering free or low cost tech for us to learn?
I don't know specifically of anything off the top of my head, but I do know that there are people offering trainings even online all the time. I mean, if you're on Facebook, any of these social media platforms, somebody is always marketing things that would be useful to you to help you learn how to use these different technologies. And so it's there. It's up to us to kind of seek out what we need. You know, it's there. It's there for us.
I'm gonna tell you, I call it YouTube University. Y'all better get on there. And what does our favorite lady say about Google? Google that shit. Constance should be here today to say her key phrase, because that's all you have to do is Google it and you will find a lot out there. What about you, Marlo? In your industry, do you know of any in your areas?
Well, I actually took a couple of courses through Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins was offering a few AI language model courses, and one was paid and one was free. And I took both of those courses. And I think just what is it that you are passionate about? What is it that you love? Start there and then figure out how AI can help you get that to more people. How can AI help you facilitate getting that thing done? I think everybody don't need to think that they're going to run and build a supercomputer, because that's not necessarily how this is being used, and that's not necessarily what is needed in the space. But I think that you just need to dip your toes, get your toes a little wet, figure out what it is you like, what you're passionate about, what you're interested in, and how you can integrate that and share that with other people. I think that the purpose of AI is to make our lives easier. That when the nerds thought about this 30 years ago and they were like, this automation is coming down the line, it was about making our lives easier and less laborious. How can AI do that for you? I think that's always the question that you have to ask, because it is a servant to you. It ain't your friend, dog. That is to get your shit done. That's your get shit doneer.
Get shit done. I'm making a t-shirt. Which you can do with AI.
Lala, I wanted to say one other thing that I just thought about. Community colleges are very good resources. And right after I responded, I just thought about even here in Mississippi, we just got a huge grant as a state, and the money was divided up between the colleges and universities here in the state. And so there are a lot of programs that are offered at the community college level. Many times these are free classes that you can take at your local community college. And so I would encourage our listeners to seek out that resource as well.
That's a great one. How about you, Joe? Do you know of any and in your area as well?
I do not. I don't know of any. I mean, I'm still trying to. I literally did an intake session this weekend with a new client, and when I asked her why she was here, she told me I was tired of using ChatGPT as my therapist, so I'm fighting off. I'm fighting off that. Trying to get people to stop using ChatGPT as a therapist, because sometimes ChatGPT be wrong, y'all. Y'all got, and it has no nuance. So
The creator of ChatGPT says when chat does not know, and that's for all these language models, when it doesn't know, it's gonna freestyle. I have somebody on my team, she loves to ask ChatGPT questions, and then she'll ask, where'd you get that information, chat? I want to read more. And it has literally told her on multiple occasions, I just made it up. Because if it is just here to give you information, you always have to ask a follow-up question. Never just let the language model give you an answer and leave it at that. Always go look for more. Like, I need to teach a class on how to learn through the language model, because it scares me how happy people are to take what ChatGPT says or whatever, Gordon, Gemini, Siri, all of them. So willing to just take what it says on that first rip and then just go about your business with no further delving into anything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
I think about even using GPS systems. I traveled a lot at one point, and I can recall getting to a location and it says you've arrived at your destination, and I'm looking around and I'm like, I have not. You've arrived. No, I have not.
baby, being a real estate agent in these streets, there was a many a time I got routed to the wrong place. And one time it routed me to a dirt road. And I was like, yeah, no, right? Okay, that's crazy. Listen, we have a couple more stats. I want to hit those as well. And then we'll dive back into this conversation. Let's check these out. Asian and Indian children are often exposed to tech skills by the age of 6, creating a pipeline advantage in education and careers. And communities that combine early tech education with strategic investing are seeing multi-generational wealth growth. We must, absolutely must incorporate this into our children's lives. You may not see the value, or you may not even be interested, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't allow our children to dive into what is the next thing that's going to allow them to thrive in these job streets and this industry. And let's not just, I want to be very clear on something. We've been talking about AI, we've been talking about ChatGPT, we've been talking about that, but we haven't talked about just STEM. Okay, STEM, that's not all just AI. We need to let our children really get into tech and playing and getting dirty, taking and loose those fans like Marlo did, learning to put them back together, using them in the auto industries that do use those robots. Okay, like those games that kids are playing, there are educational games that can teach them how to work those. Ask Ford, ask these big auto tech companies that are using these type of things where we need our children to learn. We have one more video. I'm going to check that out and we'll get back into the conversation. And then, goodness, this has been like fast. Then it'll be final thoughts. So let's check this out.
I recently came across a tweet that basically said that there aren't a lot of Black women in tech because Black women are not interested. And that cannot be any further away from the truth. Because I'm like, what side of the internet are you on? Because on my side of the internet, all I see are Black women announcing their new jobs, Black women under the comments of other Black women who are in tech seeking, ways on how to get into tech. That's all I'm seeing on my side. And I don't think interest is the problem. I think exposure and access is what the real issue is. So I have a bachelor's in communication. I have a master's in social work. And so going to school, I was probed to go the very direct route. When I got my communications degree, I thought I was going to go into public relations. I didn't. Getting my social work degree, there's 2 tracks that they lead students on. You have your micro level and your macro level. Micro is what is commonly known as, your clinical practice. You're working with clients, your therapists, people who work for, the state offices, very client facing work. Your macro is more of your nonprofit management, directing, nonprofits and policies and all of that. I didn't fall on that spectrum, but nobody showed me how my communication skills and my social work skills were transferable for the tech industry. Like nobody ever brought that to my attention. It wasn't until learning about UX UI, and basically the whole premise of that job is to keep the end user in mind. And so everything that you were doing, whatever service or product you were building, you were constantly getting feedback from your prospective consumer. And that essentially is what social work is, or what social work should be. It's keeping your client, your prospective clients, your current clients in mind in all of your decision making to make their quality of life better. You are helping to mitigate the social ills of the world through the
And I don't see that she's wrong in that at all. She spit facts. You have to know how you also can, what you currently are learning or have skills in, tie into what is currently going on, the hot thing. Everybody likes to have something that's a hot thing. Well, guess what? What you already know can be turned into a hot thing very easily once you know how to transition those things. So I want to go back one step, because I want to be clear what STEM means, because a lot of people hear it, but they don't know what STEM stands for. It stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Those are the 4 things that we should be focusing our children on. I'm not saying that being a basketball star is not feasible all the time, but the percentage of people who get to that point is extremely low. And there are a lot of those people who also have learned something different in case that didn't help or they got hurt. So we also need to be able to have something that we could grow on in the background as well. Dr. Sabrina, I want to ask you this. How can we create the long-term generational wealth through tech participation?
Well, we have to first understand it. We have to embrace it. We have to invest in it. We have to encourage our children to learn it, to use it, and to invest in it as well. There's a lot to be said for tech. There's a lot to be said for STEM. Again, I go back to exposure to STEM, exposure to tech. I knew from a young age that I wanted to be seen by the world. I wanted to do something significant, not necessarily to be popular, but to make an impact on this world. I also knew that I was very interested in STEM. I always knew science was always my favorite subject, science and mathematics. What I did not realize so much until I got to the university is that, hey, that's not what girls do, and certainly not little Black girls. That's not what you do. But I was so fortunate when I got to the university, and this was during my graduate studies. Of course, I went to an HBCU undergrad. I had people that looked like me, but I did not have enough people that looked like me. I remember being a freshman and having an Indian teaching me English, okay, which I thought was hilarious. But when I got to the graduate level, I had someone that looked like me. And that made all the difference in the world, because honestly, when I went to school, it was not to get a doctorate degree. But because I had someone who looked like me, that gave me the confidence to know that if someone else has already done it, that I could do it as well. And so I think it's important for those of us who have done it, as Marlo said earlier, for us to be visible to others so that they know that they can do it. And with that being said, that is why I am doing what I do. I'm an engineer by degree. I'm an investor by choice. I am an educator because that's the gift that God gave me. And you can use all of those things and mesh them together and have a great life. I am living proof of that. You don't necessarily have to be the ball player, and we're not knocking that, but there are other things that we can do. Okay. That being said, I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, and I am so excited and delighted that I will be at the All Black National Conference. I will be speaking on a panel on Saturday evening. We're going to talk about not only making money, but once you make that money, you got to know how to protect it, and you most definitely have to know how to properly transfer it to the next generation. So I look forward to meeting those of you that will be in attendance at the conference this weekend.
Awesome. Listen, she's already telling you action plans. Get on over there and start that, and make sure you follow up with her, because we definitely want to be able to keep the wealth that we are earning. We tell you how to get there, but now how you going to keep it, right? So Joe, I want to ask you for your final thought. What lessons do you think that we can learn from the other communities that are dominating tech that will help improve our communities? And then please tell us where we can find you as well.
Listen, I know somebody listening to this, Lala, and got afraid of what we're talking about, feeling like they're not exposing their children to it. And you may be right. You may or may not be right. But we're not saying that you have to force your children into these things. Just expose them. That's all. And I know a lot of us have been conditioned to see tech as something that belongs to other people and not to us. But, you know, this is the kind of beliefs that quietly shape a lot of our choices and decisions. So, we got to expand what we're capable of. And, there is a danger in falling behind, but it's not the only danger. It's falling, in skills, but it's falling behind in vision. That's what we have to be weary of. And if we don't see ourselves as like the builders or the innovators or even the owners in this industry, we just have to accept our future as consumers. So, the psychology tells us that what we believe we become. So you have to believe it. That's why I'm telling you to expose your kids to it so they can see it. And the moment we change that story in our minds, we can change the whole outcome in our communities. And that's the gist of it, y'all. And that goes not just for tech, that goes for anything or any dream that you or your children might have. Okay. So find me at realuconsulting.com. You know what I mean? All the links and all the podcasts and all the things is right on there. And we can talk about what Joe's always talking about, switching the mindset from survival to thriving. We can do this, y'all. We can thrive. We don't always have to be focused on just surviving. We can change. We can do this.
I believe it. And I believe that Joe is the person to help you do it. I do. I think Joe has just a special spark. You can see when people are passionate about something, that is Joe. So make sure that you go and check him out at realuconsulting.com. Thank you, Joe, for your final thoughts. Marlo, how can we encourage Black women and girls specifically to enter tech fields?
Exposure. Exposure is everything. Exposing them to women who do that. Having women who do that explain how technology lends to their job, makes it easier, makes it fun. You have to expose kids. I'm not going to waste too much of y'all time. I'm about to name drop. So either screen record it, bookmark it, and come back to it later. Khan Academy. Get your kids on Khan Academy. It is a free platform. They have levels from pre-K to college level. They have SAT prep. They have STEM. They have coding. They even have things for the mind and the mindset. Code.org, Scratch and Scratch Junior, Blockly Games, Code Combat, Lightboy, Tinker, Code Monkey. I could go on and on, but instead, you should go to Google. You should say coding games for kids free, and you will come up with that same list that I just came up with. Find something, put it on your priority list for Christmas, for birthdays, for other things where you celebrate your kids and you give them gifts. Incorporate some of these learning tools into the gifts. I promise you, these games are fun. I've seen kids make little hop leapfrog games and different little monster eat the trees games, and because they tell the game what it will be. Some of it is voice activated, some of it is typed to text, but it is all age appropriate. Get on that. Get on it. Maybe they could find a way to keep your air conditioning bill down. Get your kids exposed to it now, and they may be able to save you money later. That's all I got. That's my rant. Y'all know Marlo, themarlogroup.com, over Marlo on Instagram, all the places. Look for me, find me, Google me, you'll find me. I'm findable via the Googles because that's what I do. If you're looking for me, I'm all over the place. I would love your company, your online quips, your thoughts, your actions, all the things.
I absolutely love it. Marlo knows how to be seen, and she's going to help you be seen, because after you have learned all of this, you're going to want to let these internet streets know that you know your stuff. All right. So make sure that you go to themarlogroup.com. Go ahead and get in on that, because that is another part of being seen and getting that green. All right. Now, listen, here's what I got to say. I'm a geek to my heart. I absolutely love learning new things, and I love being able to put them into things that I have a passion about. I have a passion about real estate, so I have started incorporating these things into my business, as well as teaching others how to do the same, because I don't want to see you all left behind. They're taking too many things from us. Don't allow them to strip you of what your right is to learn. Your mind is an endless place of imagination. You need to learn to tap into that imagination that you had as a child, because there is nothing wrong with learning. And there is nothing wrong with growing. And there is nothing wrong with turning around and helping someone else do the same. So if you are interested in purchasing a home and seeing how I tie these things into helping you find your perfect home, all you have to do is go to laurakey.net and sign up for my newsletter. I have a lot of great information there for you. And I am also incorporating new home buyers classes every single month of the year. One class each month. Get in on the next one because it's going to help educate you on how to build your wealth with buying a home. Listen, we had such a wonderful conversation today. So much conversation in the chat. We had Armando, Tamisha, Dr. Vibe, Black Lexicon, Mike Harris, Deborah, Double A. We had Marlo's mom. We've got her in here. We love you when you come in here. We had Brother Man. We had so many people who had the conversation going. We gave you tips. We gave you tricks. We gave you where to go to up level yourself. But make sure that you also sign up for flynubianmoneyclub.com. That is a wrap for today's conversation on tech education and investing in our communities. Representation isn't just about having a seat at the table. It is about preparing our children to lead, innovate, and create wealth for generations. Take actions today by education, investing, mentoring, and start building the pipeline that our kids and us need to thrive in tech. Listen, thank you for being here today. We are going to be here tomorrow, once again, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We encourage you to go out and be a good human today, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace